I want to be. No, I can't. No, I can't be what I want to be. Be what I want to be. If I work hard at it, if I work hard at it, I'll be where I want to be. I'll be where I want to be. No, I can't be what I want to be.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and sorry for the slight delay in starting up. Welcome to another informative, educative, and interactive session with JuCE. And thank you all for joining in. I want to apologize for the change in of the program. We had wanted to have a career topic on my journey into acting, but it's not holding. But trust us to always bring you something informative. So we'll be having a question and answer session. And I'm hoping that you have your questions ready. You have your pen, your paper to jot down your questions. And at the appropriate time, you can ask. We'll give you the opportunity to ask your questions. I want to welcome everyone for joining in. We have Center for Memories Enugu, who have always been part of this program, always tuning in. We also have Mrs. Iyado, we have Mrs. Agbola. Thank you for joining in, and I know that your children are by you. So please, I would like you to introduce yourself, drop your name, your school, your class in the comment section, and then we would introduce you. So we are going to be, we'll delve in right, we are way behind time. So we are delving in right into what we have today. So we are recognizing schools, like I said, Center for Memories. Thank you for joining in. And I am your host for today. I'm Salome Isaiah, the Administrative and Program Manager for JuCE Africa. So once again, I say welcome. So the reason we are here, one of the most frequent questions a child is asked is, what do you want to be when you grow up? This is a question every child can relate to, even adults can relate to, because growing up, we know that at every point in time, we are being asked that question, and at several times, we have answered differently. One thing here at JuCE is we are being intentional about the career and growth of teenagers, and that is why we are here. So we are here to expose a lot of children to careers, and we have different career sessions that speaks to different interesting and informative topics that exposes the children to a lot of career. We also have the mentorship session where we pair children to mentors in their area of interest. Also, we have the university program, preparing teenagers, preparing students for their career, their future study, telling them things they can do, how they can explore global opportunities. So these are part of the programs that JuCE is very intentional about. We want a situation where these children can be well equipped to face the future. Information, exposure, and whatnot. So that is why we are here at JuCE Africa today. And we will always emphasize that our vision is to see that the children's career paths are intentionally thought through, developed, and chosen. And also our vision, our mission is to build the future with purpose and clarity and intentionality. That is our focus here at JuCE. And that is why we are always here two Saturdays in the month to bring to you informative sessions. So now, how do you come in? We have our events every 2 weeks, and we are advising, we encourage that you connect with our social media handles. We are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we have our website. You can share our contents with people, because at the end of the day, the goal is to reach out to every teenager as much as possible. You can also be a member in JuCE to share your expertise. You can become a mentor. You can also sponsor our programs. You can sponsor our initiatives. Those are some of the things. That is how you can come in. You can also be a career partner. And most importantly is tell others about JuCE. Anywhere you go in your environment, in your space, you leverage your network, tell others about JuCE. And most especially, connect a teenager with JuCE today. So today we'll be having a very, very, very interactive session. We are having a speaker. She's an education consultant. She's someone that is vast, sound, and she's going to be answering a lot of questions today. So I want you to sit tight. I want you to get your pen and paper ready. I want you to listen attentively, and we will give you the opportunity to ask your question. So quickly, without wasting much time, we are going to be calling on board Demilade Adelaja. She's an educator, she's an education activist, she's an author, and she'll be telling us more about herself. So welcome, Demilade. Welcome to another session with JuCE. Over to you, Demilade. Can you hear me?
Salome, just a quick minute before we have Demilade on. I had sent you a message, but you did not see it. But I would just like to read Demilade's profile before she takes over.
Okay.
So Demilade is a passionate advocate for education and gender equality. She's dedicated to eliminating the gender and socio-economic disparities in underserved communities. So for the children here, what this basically means is that Demilade is very passionate about making sure that every child has an opportunity, whether you're a girl, whether you're a boy, there's no limitation to what you can be and what you can do. She has over 4 years experience in actively designing and executing initiatives to reduce the growing number of out-of-school children across Nigeria. So she basically works with institutions and organizations to make sure as much as possible kids are, kids that are not in school, children that are not in school are put into school and get the quality education that they need. She's worked with a lot of interesting organizations in this regard. I think most recently she was at Street to School, an NGO that basically takes children off the street and gives them an education. That was actually how I connected with her / met her. So she's phenomenal in this world that JuCE operates in. She has a lot of experience and a lot of insights to offer. She's also an author. Demilade is an author of Little Citizens of the World, a book inspiring children and young people across the world to become catalysts for positive change within and outside their communities. And I really like this idea because one thing we keep preaching at JuCE is children getting involved in your community, looking at something in your community which you're like, I can do something about this. So this needs to change. We need to do better in this regard. That's what the book is about, trying to motivate, young children, teenagers to find opportunities in their community that they can use to be, that they can leverage to be, forces for positive change. Her personal mission is to put God's love into action by making a visible impact in the lives of others through her service to humanity. So, I mean, Demilade is a force of nature. Demilade is incredible. She's her journey, her story, the work she's done has been a huge inspiration to me. And she's constantly, honestly, just trying to see how she can help and support JuCE and how she can, push this work that we do. So in fact, like I have to say thank you because, like you said at the beginning, Salome, we had another program scheduled for today, but unfortunately, our speaker is very much under the weather, so she cannot make it. But I just reached out to Demilade, and before I even finished, explaining and saying the things, that she's like, yes, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, this is it. She's like, yes, I'll do it. And it just really speaks to her passion for what we do here and for young people, and and for to make sure that indeed she makes a positive difference, and that the lives of the younger people are better and more exciting and more fulfilling. So yeah, I just wanted to say those few words because I know if you tell her to introduce herself, she'll say, maybe she would just gloss over it, but she's incredible, and we're so lucky to have her. I think she's present. I think actually the very second JuCE career session we had, she hosted that. Sorry, not hosted, she was the speaker. So she's familiar with what we do here, but more than that, she is adept at it. She is great at it. She's good at what she does. So I don't want to talk too much, today, but thank you so much, Jamie, for being here. And today's session, let me just introduce today's session as well. Today's session is a question and answer session. We don't really have anything prepared in terms of the questions. We just want to give parents who are here, students who are here, an opportunity to ask any question about navigating future careers. So whether it is how to deal with a difficult subject in school, or how to convince your parents you want to study this course as against this course, how to deal with peer pressure. Maybe your friends all want you to do X and you want to do Y. How to like Demilade wrote in her book, how to look into your community and see how can I make a change. What does that mean? And all of these types of questions, any questions you have in the place of career and in the place, and when we say career, from this stage when you're in secondary school. So from that place of how to even decide what I want to do to, now I've decided how to get there, what university should I apply for, how should I find the university, oh, my parents cannot afford the university I want, how can I position, all those questions you have. Or if you don't even know that's all what you want to do, she's a great person to ask those types of questions. So today, just so the children and the parents who are here know, today is going to just be a free for all. So we're going to set the stage. Salome will set the stage by asking 2 or 3 key questions that we think might be interesting for the students. But outside of that, if you're in the chat, please feel free to already put questions in the chat. Nkemjika, please feel free to literally go through, start asking the students who are with you at CFM if they have. So all those questions that they were asking before with regard to the other programs we had that we said, we can deal with it at a later session. Please let them bring it forward today and let's answer as many questions as we can. So that's the point of today. So yeah, thank you. I'll hand back to Salome and Demilade, but thank you, Demi, for being here. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for the warm welcome.
Just reading, I was like, wow, just one soul is having this, Lord God. It's something, it's inspiring, and it's something that just children should look forward to, thank you for joining us. So I know that I have some questions. I'm going to start somewhere. Yeah, we are talking about career, yes. Let me go this way. There are some people, it's not everyone that understands what they want to be, how to even get there. Yes, it's easy to say, oh, okay, so I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be an engineer. But there's something else you want to do. Like there are a lot of things you want to do, but you don't know how to narrow it down. What do you think? How can one navigate his or her career in the face of uncertainty and indecision.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And that question is kind of personal because I've been there before. Um, I don't know if Ada knows my story, but I've shared it on social media before about how I didn't know what I wanted to do, even at that. You know how children always have future ambition. I didn't have. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Okay, I wanted to be a doctor at some point, but I was really poor at math and I could not cope in science class. So, I mean, I had to go to art class. Then art class, is very common to want to study law or mass communication. I didn't know what I was going to do after secondary school. I wrote WAEC, I wrote JAM. I said, okay. Even I was still telling somebody a few days ago my experience when I was in SS3 when I already started for JAM. And I was telling the person that it was even the person that was at the business center that picked my school and picked the course that I was to study. That's how much I didn't have that guidance. So the person was just like, oh, you're in art class, so yeah, pick law now. And second choice, pick this school. Third choice, pick this school. And that was how I picked those schools for my first JAM. That guidance was not there. I just did it. And it's normal. That's the first thing I'm going to say. It's normal to be at that phase. It's a phase. Even if it's not career-wise, there are times where you'll be caught up in between like two decisions. You don't know which to go for. You don't know what to do. And I'll first say that the first thing I'll say is prioritize yourself. And when I say prioritize yourself is what do you really want for yourself, not for anyone, not for your parents, not for your siblings or anybody. Prioritize yourself. What do you want? You have to do some introspection. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Where can I cope? Where can I not cope? What am I able to do? Like those things are very important, as cliche as it may sound. Those things are very important when it comes to deciding what career to go for. If you are not if you're someone that is not good with sciences, I hated biology in secondary school. I hated even basic science. I did not like it. I already knew that those areas, they are not for me. So you have to prioritize yourself first, know what you want for yourself, do some introspection, assess your skills. What am I good at? What am I not good at? One thing I would say is that people will surely tell you, people will make suggestions. And that's why I said the first thing is to prioritize yourself, because people will make suggestions that, oh, they don't think you are good in this place. And it's one thing for other people to think you're not good at something. It's one thing for you to know that, okay, I can do this thing. Like years from now, I know that I'll be good at this thing. So that's why I said it's very important to, place priorities on your skills, on your strengths and your weaknesses. This next thing I'll say is seek guidance. I cannot overemphasize the importance of asking questions. Like there is no shame in asking questions. Seek guidance from people who have gone ahead of you. Even as I am right now, even as little as writing an essay, writing an application. If I'm writing an application or applying for an opportunity, the first thing I always do is I go to LinkedIn to go and find people that have gotten that opportunity, people who have done that very thing I want to do before. And I reach out to them and ask them questions. Is this thing, is it worth it? How was your experience like? What advice will you give me if you were in my shoes? What would you have done differently? So seeking guidance is like very, very important to choosing a career. I remember last year, my friend was caught up between going abroad for a MBA or attending Lagos Business School for an MBA. At that point, Lagos Business School was obviously cheaper, but she was looking at getting the international exposure and, meeting other people. So she wanted to go to the UK. And she sought my
I think Demi's network is
Demi?
yeah, no, I think her network is cracking. But yeah. We'll just wait a minute for her to reconnect.
And this is something that you assume that, oh, abroad education is better and all of that. The person said, I will advise you go to Lagos Business School first, because if you are not going to an Ivy League school, you are not going to tier one schools like Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, and all of those things. It's not like the other schools are not good, but where you are going to is very competitive. Like your career profession is very competitive, and you have to do what's best for you. So it's better for you to get and where she's coming from. Also, she's studying mass comm in university, so she wants to pivot into the finance industry. So like it's a very competitive thing, right? For someone who's coming from arts and wants to get into the finance space. And the person told her, lay your foundation from Lagos Business School, get the knowledge, go to the school, learn it. You can even, if you want to change your mind, you know that you've not spent so much money, you're not stuck in another country doing what you don't like. And after that 2 years of studying in Lagos Business School, you can now decide to go abroad. At least you have the degree, you have something that can push you up, not just your undergraduate degree, but now you're competing with people who have an undergraduate degree in accounting, finance, but you now you have 2 degrees, which is best for you. And that was exactly what she did. And she's doing very well right now. She's still in Lagos Business School, but she's doing very well. And she told me that she does not have any regrets, that she would have regretted if she went to the UK to do her MBA in like one of these schools like University of Greenwich and all of that. So what I'm saying basically, seek guidance. What you don't know, you won't know until you ask questions. Don't make assumptions, especially if you are going somewhere that you've never been before. Ask someone who has been there to direct you. And the last thing I'll say is, if you still feel like you're unsure after you've sought guidance, you've done some introspection, because it's very possible to still find it difficult to make a decision. I'll say be willing to take risk. So it is you telling yourself that I'll do the next wise thing, but I'm open to change, right? So just be willing to be open-minded that, okay, even if I take this decision, wherever I find myself, I'm willing to adjust. I'm willing to take the next best step from there. Whatever I do at the end of the day, I'm open to adjustment. I'm flexible. So you have to be willing to take risk and be flexible. So yes, those are the 3 things that you have to consider when you are caught up and unsure in making a career decision.
I'm taking notes. I'm sure that are taking notes, because we learn every day, you know. As long as you're living, you continue to build your career path, you continue to be better at what you are doing. And every session is informative. You learn something, you take something home. So while you were talking, you mentioned, it's funny, you mentioned that you went to a business center and they told you what to study first, your first choice, even the university. What about your parents in this light? Weren't there guidance from your parents? And if there wasn't, how did your parents react to, oh, you came home to tell them, oh, I chose these courses and this university? What were their reactions to it? And what was the after effect going forward? Because I understand a typical Nigerian parent that you got to do something else and come back home and you tell them I did this. There must be one spontaneous reaction. Can you share that experience with us before I ask you the next?
So my parents are very open-minded people. So they're not, you have to do this with your life, you have to do this. Their one is to give you the best education and supporting your decision in the best way they can. So they were not, this is what you have to do. So when they saw my job, plus they were not even available, so they could not complain. So they, like someone came, my uncle came to pick me from the boarding house, dropped me at the business center, picked me up and took me back to school. So my parents were not available at that time. So they could not even complain because they were not there. I'm not saying that they were not present in my life, but at that point in time, they were not there. So when they saw it, they were like, okay, is that what you want to do? Then fine. But I know that not every parent is that flexible. Not every parent is that open and flexible with their children. Some parents are very headstrong and they're like, okay, you have to do this very thing, which is fine. But one thing I always say is that when parents emphasize on a particular career path for their kids, it always comes from a good place, right? The desire of every parent is for their children to be better than them. So sometimes we also have to give them grace to see from their perspective that, okay, they mean well. It's not like they don't mean well, but you both have to find a middle ground. Like your parents will not, like the fact that they send you to school is enough proof that they love you. The fact that they support your education is enough proof that they are interested in your growth. They want to see you do well. So when they're like, you have to be a doctor, you have to study medicine, it's coming from their own experience, what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've experienced personally on a personal basis. So when they say those things, they're like, okay, they want you to do something professional. And you on the other hand, maybe it's content creation that you want to do. Because I mean, it's no news that content creators are earning more than doctors that even go to school to study 8 years. I mean, in Nigeria, let me just put that. I mean, in Nigeria. So it's very possible that you want to do something else. Say you want to be a YouTuber, you want to be a content creator and all of that. You have to sit with your parents and find a middle ground. And I always say this to students. Anytime you have a different career path that you want to do from that of your parents, from that which your parents want you to do, still pursue what you really want to do on the side, but have evidence that you are going to do well if they let you do it. Sometimes when parents are very adamant on their children pursuing a particular career path, is because they watched you grow. They know what you're capable of doing. Some parents are not even so confident in their children's decision based on things that have happened in the past, based on how they watch them grow over the years. So they're not confident in allowing their children even make a career decision on their own. So that's why they are very adamant. And I would say that if you want to do something different from what your parents want you to do and your parents are being adamant, I would say still pursue that thing that you want to do, but show them evidence that you'll be good at it if they let you do it. For instance, say content creator now, if you're a content creator, show them your work on what your post on Instagram, show them that, okay, my post had like 2,000 likes, so this is how it's doing, you know, this brand reached out to me, you know, this person noticed my post. Show them that you're doing something and you're getting noticed. If it's football that you want to play, let them know that, okay, you're very good at this thing. At your school, they called you to represent the school to play football. When they start hearing these things, they will know that, okay, it's like this person is really good at it, or we're just, you know, sometimes see finish, your parents cannot really see how good you are at something. It's outsiders, is when you start getting recognition from outsiders. That's when they start to get convinced that you're really good at what that very thing that you've been saying that you're. If it's writing, okay, I applied for this competition, let them know the competitions that you've been applying for. Okay, I was part of top 50, even if you did not win, let them know. They go back to me, I was part of top 100, I was part of top 50, I wrote the news in my school, I'm writing for my church, you know, those things. It starts to build their confidence subconsciously that, okay, if this girl should actually pursue a career, she will do great in it. If she has not started doing this thing full time and she's doing this good at it, so if she's doing it full time, there's no how your parents will see all those evidences and they will not let you do what you want to do. Even if at first they start to become adam. When I started teaching and started in the education space, my mom was like, I started by volunteering as a teacher. My mom was like, I should go and find another work, that I should go and find a full-time job, a job that will pay me well. And I told her that this is what I'm passionate about. This is what God has called me to do. She was like, go and find another work. This job that you're doing that is not paying you, how long do you want to do it for? I'm like, you should not worry. The first time I shared my story on LinkedIn, that it got like attention. I was not even the one that sent it to her. It was someone else that sent it to her. She forwarded it to me by herself. It was everywhere. That one went by. The next time that like I got nominated for an award, I sent it to her. She saw it. The other time, whenever I'm invited to speak, she will see, I'll let her know that I'm going to this place to go and speak. Oh. The time that I met the governor of Lagos State, I let her know that this is the person I'm going to go and meet. After a while, she just left me alone. She didn't have a choice. She just left me. She was like, okay, if this is what you want to do, God will guide you and I'll keep praying for you. And that's how it has been. So like, it's not, I'm not going to deny the fact that it's not easy. It is not easy, but like gradually they'll get to understand. You don't have to fight your parents or be disrespectful to them because you want to follow a particular career point. They love you, and the reason why they do what they are doing is because they want the best for you.
Salome, you're muted.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Demilade. That was a lot, in fact. Yes, we know that not everyone in school is intelligent. You know, we have the intelligent ones, we have the average, we have the below average, the struggling students. And, you know, it tells a lot on them when they see they are not good as compared to their peers and all that. It takes a toll on their self-esteem and all that. What is the advice you give to students or teenagers that find themselves in that position where they are struggling in school? It's not like they are not making efforts, but it's not just showing, you know, we are all about results. Oh, it must, our result is good, this one is good. That, you know, if there is no result, it doesn't show you are good. Even if you have it within you, if there is no evidence to prove that, oh, you are good, then we don't have anything to hold on to. So how do you speak to that struggling student, that person that does not have it figured out? He's struggling to even make it in the courses, no, the subjects he's doing, and doesn't even know if he can even have a career or a great future path. What advice would you give to such kind of students or teenagers?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I'll start by saying that I've been in that position before, especially as a student. Academic validation is a big thing in this part of the world, whereby if your parents are sending you to school, they just expect you to um, be excellent. And I don't blame them. Now that I'm an adult, I now understand why our parents get upset, because by the time you pay school fees, how much is school fees now? By the time you pay school fees for 3 terms, it's an investment. You just be expecting a certain kind of return, right? And it's normal. I remember when I was in secondary school, I was very bad at math. Hey, God. And even till now, I'm not good at math. But like I used to be really poor at math, and I know there are some students who are like me, especially if you're in art class. Chances are that you're not really a math person, and it used to bring down my grades because mathematics is a core subject. Even till now, mathematics is a core subject. So like I can score like in literature, English, CRS, home economics, government, those art inclined courses, I used to do very well. 80%, 90%, all those things. But when it comes to math, biology, economics, and all of those courses, I'll be getting, especially math, I'll be getting things like 45. And I didn't even used to try. I had a home tutor and all of that, but it didn't make me any better. I remember my mom saying something. She said something that the fact that you are doing so well in your art inclined courses is even a sign that you're an intelligent person. So the fact that you're not doing well in a particular subject does not negate the fact that you are intelligent, does not change the fact that you're intelligent, right? So I'll start by saying that everyone has a particular thing they are good at. whether it's in academics, whether it's in sports, whether it's in communication, anything at all. Everyone has something they are good at. It might not just be in academics. And I always say something that if you're not doing well in school right now, if you're not doing, find something that you're good at so that it doesn't seem like you're not good at anything at all, right? So that was the mistake I made. I was very good at English, writing essays and all of those things. But I never really used to write. I never really used to, I did not join any literary and debating club. I was not doing anything with my skills, right? And that was why it seemed like I was not good at anything. So if it seems like you're not good at a particular subject, you're struggling with a particular subject, I'm not saying that you should abandon it. Try your best. Meet with your friends, ask them for help, meet with your teachers, ask them for support, assistance. Oh, I don't understand this thing. Please explain it to me. Please, can you teach me this topic? Even if it's okay, teach me this topic, I'll pay you 100 naira, I'll give you my snacks. Like, it shows that you're enthusiastic. And when you know that this thing that you're learning, it comes at a cost, because it's very important to start learning these things at a very young age, where you know that these things that you're learning, it comes at a cost. You put your mind to it, right? So ask your friends for help if you're struggling with any subject. But that aside from asking your friends for help, find that thing that you're good at, even if it's not in your academics. There is emotional intelligence, cognitive intelligence, different forms of intelligence. Then so you should find that thing. Some people, they are good with playing instruments. Some people, they are good with writing, arts. They are good with photography. For instance, my brother, he started photography at the age of 15, right from secondary school. He started with his phone, taking pictures and all of that. It's not like he was not good with academics, but it was just something he found passion in. And you'll be surprised that at the end of the day, is that other thing that you even found that will be serving you better. So what I'm saying is, try to grow your skills somewhere so that you are not just an average person, right? If it's English, if it's English you are good at, grow your skill in English. Write, read books on how to be better at that thing that you are already good at, so that it's going to stand you out, right? So it's not that you are not good at math at all and you're just average in English. Do you understand? So I call it the 70-30 rule. So say you're 30% good at math, make sure you're like 70%, 80%, 90%, or 10% good at math. Make sure you're 90% good at English. Make sure you're very good at the thing that you found that you're good at, so that it is that you are good at that particular thing, you're excellent at it, you are great at it, and that you can say that. So if not for anything, people can make excuses for you that she might not be good at this, but she's really, really good when it comes to writing. She's really excellent when it comes to drama. She's really good when it comes to singing. Make sure you are growing at that thing that you found passion in, at that thing that you enjoy doing. You understand me? And still try to be better at that one that you're struggling with. At the end of the day, you see that you are like it's balanced. At the end of the day, you are not 100% bad at one place, 100% bad at the other place, or you're just everywhere. Your skills are just everywhere. No, at the end of the day, you just find out that you are doing very good in different areas. It might not be on the same level, but you know that you are not entirely bad.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Demilade. So I would like to ask, I know you have mentioned content creation, you've mentioned a lot. I don't know, someone may want to ask that question, but this is me asking the question. So what are the most in demand, or maybe careers that are in Nigeria today? We know that aside the regular traditional courses, we know there are some emerging careers now that we see a future in it, like it's going to be sustainable, it's going to be here in a long time. What are some of those in demand careers that we have in Nigeria today?
Okay, I'll just mention like the top 5 for me that I think they are the most in demand. First is, I mean, we're in the era of social media, so if you can get your hands on content creator, some people are not just good at it. People like me, I'm not, but like if it's something that you can learn and develop your skill in, you can do that. Content creators are making so much money now. I remember my friend wanted to host an event last year. I don't know if you people know this Enioluwa guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, my
Any,
friend
yeah.
wanted to host. Yes, he wanted to host. She wanted to host an event last year, and we reached out to him that, okay, can you help us put out a video just for publicity purposes so that more people will know about the event? And he's like, oh, that is 2 million per video, and he's booked for the rest of the year. He can't even take it.
Mhm.
I'm like, wow, like people are booking you. Like it was even way above our budget, but the fact that people are even willing to pay for a service as expensive as it might seem, it shows that like um it's a lucrative hustle that you can get your hands on. Content creation, influencer marketing, another one is tech. We're in the era of tech, and there are different aspects of tech. That's the beautiful thing about going into tech. There is cyber security, there is software development, there is engineering, there is product management, there's data analysis and data science. There are so many aspects of tech that you can learn. And one thing about the tech space is that it's evolving, right? It evolves. So you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to adapt to the changes that comes with being in the tech space. So some skills might not be in demand as it is in demand right now. So you have to be willing to grow your skills if you are in the tech space. Another one is agriculture. It may surprise you that that's another career that is in demand. 2 days ago, I was at an event and I met someone that has a farm. She's into agripreneurship. And to my surprise, like when she told me everything she does and all of those things, to my surprise, like I'm like, is this really, if I knew, I would have started farming since. Like it might seem like,
Not
oh,
to me.
farming, I don't want to. Farming might seem like, oh, it's like all these olden days um career, like all these olden days, it's not a white collar job. I want to work in an office and all of that. But it might surprise you that agriculture is something that is evolving right now, and it's something that I believe it's also in demand, right? Especially with the fact that you want more people to um, buy Nigerian products, eat Nigerian products, get Nigerian products more into the global landscape. Agriculture is something that you can look into. Then finance and fintech, that's financial technology. That's another career that I think is in demand currently. People are trying to find ways that one can send money easily, especially in this era of jackpot. People are trying to find ways people can make transactions from different parts of the world, find a problem that you can solve in that space. And lastly, I'll say real estate. I think real estate is also an aspect of career, an aspect that it's in demand right now. Real estate. People will also be always um want to buy houses. People will always need accommodation. It could be anything. To be like okay, sorry, I have a call is trying to come in now, so I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. We can.
We can hear you.
Okay, yes, so real
We
estate is
lost you a bit.
another is in demand. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, amazing.
Well,
So like those are the top 5 for me.
top
So
demand
finance,
skills, yeah.
fintech,
Tech,
technology, IT,
agriculture.
agriculture, content
Content
creation,
creation.
real estate. Also, I missed one. That is bilingualism, learning a language. Oh my God.
Oh, God.
It is something that I there's this girl on Twitter that I found her page. This girl, she learned Korean language from watching Korean movies. Like she enjoys watching Korean movies. Then she decided to learn the language, and now she's making so much money from the fact that she understands Korean language. So bilingualism is also an aspect that is not even competitive because many people are not even looking into that direction. But bilingualism, if you can learn a language, even if it's French, German, Mandarin, Korean, Russian, whatever it is, like even if it's sign language, learn it. Is a skill because many people, especially in Nigeria, many people do not have that skill. So it's going to set you apart in one way or the other. Like it's going to set you apart. So yes, bilingualism, language
Yeah.
experts is an in-demand skill,
Mm.
even outside Nigeria itself. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Before I proceed to the next question, please, if you have your questions, drop it in the comment section and we'll take it. So we can just chip in, taking your question before I continue with my own question from my end. So if you have your questions, please drop it in the comment section. Or if you want to speak directly to Demilade, I think we can also allow that. So please want you to, okay, Adezi's hand is up. Go ahead, Ada.
So I have a comment, then a question, if that's okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the comment I have is that, well, thank you, Jamie, for mentioning the translation stuff. We actually have Frances, who is the lady who speaks Korean and travels around the world now to, for diplomatic events to represent to help Nigeria translate. We have her coming on in November.
The 9th of November.
Yeah, on the 9th of November to talk to the JuCE secondary school students about how to get into this, how to be enthusiastic about languages and all of that. So I thank you for mentioning that, and I hope that students would attend to get that insight. One question I have, because we've spoken about students who struggle with a certain subject, or are trying to, or don't do as well, as their classmates and their peers. I have a question about, because this is, we always think about the kids who are struggling, and that's important, but there are also kids who struggle in a different way. Kids who are good at everything. Science, so they are good. Arts, they are good. Literature and debating society, they're there. Science class, science events and whatever, they're there. And I found that many of these types of kids, my younger brother was one of them. He also struggled with finding what to do. Because in a way, if you struggle with something, if let's say you're not good at math, you already know now that maybe a career in a math-related subject is not for me. So in a way, some of our limitations shape us to do different things. But there are also kids who suffer in quote because they are good at everything. They're smart with everything. And they don't have a real passion for one way or another. They are just good at whatever they do. And I'm pretty sure there might be some children or secondary school students here today who have that. What would be your advice then to those specific people on what to do? Should they just do anything because maybe they'll just be successful at anything? Or how can they find their way? How can they, how can you advise that they navigate? Nkemjika's hand is up, so you can answer my question, then we go to Nkem because he's with students, so there's probably a student that has a question. Thank you.
Okay. You're muted.
Sorry, you're muted.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for touching on that, because that's an aspect that we don't really talk about, but it's actually a real challenge, right? So I would say for students who find themselves in that position that they are good at everything they do, they excel in everything they do, I would say take one of it and focus on it and be flexible. So you know that you're good at everything. It should be like a plus for you. Okay, you've come to that realization that everything I do, I'm good at it. Okay, take one and focus on it and be willing to be flexible such that, and the truth is, no matter how much you are good at everything, there's still one thing that you are better at, right? There's one thing that you might not find it immediately. You might have to do different things that you're good at to find out that one thing that you are actually better at. But that is why I say you have to start with something, because if you continue running with the mindset that I'm good at everything, you find out that you are not doing what you're supposed to do, because there's also the aspect of purpose. What am I here for? What can I achieve in my time on earth? And if you continue thinking, oh, I'm good at everything, that particular thing that you've been created for, you might not really find it, because you'll be busy focusing on the fact that you have so many things that you are good at, and you will not do that very thing that you were made for, right? So it's also a journey, right? It does not, and I also want to say, it does not make you better than every other person, because there is also that possibility to think, oh, I'm good at everything, I don't have to struggle and all of that. It doesn't make you better than every other person. Instead, it should make you more driven, right? So I would say, someone said, does that mean we're all made for one thing? I would say yes and no, because yes, you can be made for one thing, in the sense that for me now, I've tried to do every other thing, like aside from education, but I still find myself in the education space because I feel like a fish outside of water, and it's just very difficult for me to. I remember when my mom was telling me that I should go and get a job, my mom was like, I should apply to one bank like this and do their graduate training program. Actually, I said that, okay, it's making you should not seem like I'm not obedient to my parents. I applied for one Access Bank green internship and all of that. I passed this thing, I passed the test and all of that. Next phase, I think it was an interview or all of that. I'm not sure. Like, I was like, what will I, like from the details, they were like, I'm like, this thing is not for me. This thing is not for me. But I let her know that I've passed the test too. I've done what you want me to do, but this thing, I cannot do it. Like, let me just tell you the truth. I didn't go for the interview. I didn't go for the interview. And it's not because I did not want to try at all, but because I already knew that that was not my that was not for me. That's not my career. Education is my career. Plus, I had already started seeing the impact of what I was doing. I knew that if I was in the bank, I would not make so much impact in the life of people. And for me, I always say something, I cannot work where my work is not making impact on someone's life, right? It's not having a tangible impact that 10 years from now, I look back, I'm like, I thank God I took up this job, because of the work I do, this person is here today. Because of the work I do, this person's life has changed for the better. My that's my life. That's what makes me happy. That's what brings me fulfillment. And the reason why I said that you might not be created for one thing is the fact that, like we're saying, some people are very good at different things, photography and videography, but still find that one thing that you are good at. Start with that first. You can start doing multiple things later on, but start with that, start with something, start with that. And be willing to take risks, because that thing that you're good at, you find somebody that is better than you in it. And if you don't upskill, you find out that you're not as good as before. My brother used to play saxophone very well when he was in secondary school. After a while, he stopped playing it. Now he cannot play the saxophone again. And he will not say, I can play the saxophone, I'm good at photography, I'm a mathematician, because he studied mathematics in university. I'm very flexible. He's also doing videography, he does documentary and all of that. He used to be good at all these things at some point. But now he cannot play the saxophone again because he stopped playing it. He didn't develop his skills. He lost interest in it. So there's also that part, and you grow. That's one thing I was going to touch on. You grow. After a while, you start to see you start to see life from a different perspective. You start to find the things that are important to you and the things that are not so important to you. So you start to set your priorities straight. Okay, 10 years from now, is this what I still want to be doing? 15 years from now, is this what I want? Is this what I still want to be doing? So that will put you in check. It will help you streamline those passions, those different things those different interests. It will help you streamline it. So it's very important that Ada asked that question, and I hope I was able to do justice to that question.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Salome, please continue coordinating. We haven't
Okay, so Nkem, then we have Yvonne Ikide. So Nkem will go first, then thereafter Yvonne. Okay.
My name is Nwatime Summer S. I'm in JuCE 2D. I'm schooling at Day Secondary School in Pennsylvania. My question is, I have 5 questions, and the first one is, assuming you want to be a doctor, but you can't go further in your education process, can you go further with the help of JuCE? Since your primary school, you desire to go special schools in government, as a federal government college, but no money for the registration. Are you went to a more cheaper school job you don't like? Can it affect your course actually? Can you be a doctor and also be doing an animation together with practicing on your talent and acquisition skills? Assuming you aren't doing well in your course, but that is what you want to be. What will you do? Because to my understanding, changing it is not good. If you are almost good in the subject of art, but you want to do science, what will you do? And what's your aim if you later choose the wrong path?
My name is Anibog, the divine favor. If you want to be a policeman, how can you be it? 2, if you want to be a nurse, how can you be it? If you want to be a teacher, how can you be it? If you want to be a captain, how can you do it? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Watu Chimamanda. I have only one question. I'm schooling in this secondary school. I'm in JuCE 1. If you want to be a doctor, lawyer, and nurse, but your parents said that they don't want you to be a lawyer out of that 3 course, because they said that lawyer lies and you have a talent of singing and you have a talent of singing, and your mother wanted you to be a reverend sister, but you don't want. You want either one on that 3 course. What will you do?
Okay.
So I think that is all, right? That is all.
Thank you for the questions. Some of them were very I'm laughing not because
we have 2 more questions. 2 more questions. Okay, one. Yes, 2 more questions, please.
My name is Alok. I'm in JuCE 2D. I'm schooling at Day Secondary School. If you want to be a lawyer, what can you do? The second one is that if you want to be a lawyer and a baker, what at the same time, what can you do? My question.
The last question. Let us take the last question.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anibog Emmanuel. My question is coming from, if you want to be a policeman, how can you do it? How can a man be a doctor? And how can you be a teacher also at the same time?
I don't know if we got that question, or should I read it out again?
Be a doctor and a teacher at the same time.
we got it. We got it.
That was the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So are the questions going to be answered now?
Yeah, so we're going to answer it now.
Sorry.
If you miss out on anyone, you can call us back.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to group the questions into two. I'm going to take one part of it because that's a JuCE related question. And then the second part of it, I'll hand over to Demilade. So one part of the question was just basically how JuCE can support you if you're interested in a specific course. So specifically, she said medicine. So if you're interested in medicine and maybe you cannot afford it, or that type of stuff, how JuCE can help you. Then the second set of questions were, well, there were a lot of them, but basically it's Demilade questions. So changing your course, if you start with one course and you find out you're not good at it, changing it. How to be there were many professions mentioned: doctors, lawyers, captains, nurse. Then there was the question of if you want
police officer.
Police officer. If you want to do something and your parents want you to do something else, how should you navigate that? So she's interested in 3 courses, potentially doing one of them or all 3. But her mom wants her to to go into the seminary to be a reverend sister. So what should she do? And then of course there was the question about oh sorry, that was the last question. I'm just trying to remember. But there were the questions about combining combining being a doctor, for example, with baking, so combining 2 different professions and whether that's possible and how to do it, right? So I'm going to start by answering the JuCE related question, and then we will go to and then we will hand over to you, Demilade. So the JuCE related question: you want to study a specific course and you're not able to because of the finances or for any other reason. JuCE is here very much to support you in that process. Now, JuCE does not have money on its own to give you, to tell you, okay, take money, go to school, study this. But what we can do is to set you up in such a way that you have access to scholarships, you have access to opportunities, you have access to all sorts of things that, 2 weeks ago, we had a talk by Miss Chisom, who spoke on how she got full scholarship. Not just that she got money to go to school, not just that they paid her school fees, they were paying her money. They were paying her a stipend while she was in school. That is a possibility. And that's what JuCE aims to do. JuCE, part of what we're trying to do is to get children as much as secondary school students like you. And many of you that asked the questions are in JSS 1, JSS 2, which makes me very happy because that tells me that you have 4-5 years within which to take all these things we're telling you, practice it, and hopefully, God on your side, you get access to some of these opportunities, right? So how can JuCE support you? JuCE can support you by giving you the information you need. JuCE can support you by connecting you to people who are in these, who have gotten scholarships, who have been to some of these schools, and what that can mean for you, how you too can do the same thing. JuCE can support you with, if you need to write essays and applications or all of that, JuCE can support you with mentoring you through that process so that you can, get support. So you have someone who is reading your essay, editing your essay, giving you, okay, no, maybe you should try for this or try for that. JuCE can support you in telling you how you need to get to, okay, you say you want to study medicine. These are the schools that study medicine. How can you get, JuCE can help you with that type of information, right? So you being here today, that's you getting this type of information that you can hopefully go ahead. So what you have to do now is to tell yourself, okay, my name is, X, Chiamaka or, Ogbonna or whatever. This is my name and this is what I want to do. And then you pursue it. And then if I were you, I would talk to Mr. Nkem and ask him, okay, since I want to study medicine, can you speak to JuCE? I want a mentor in the medical field, so now we will now connect you with a doctor who can then be advising you, who can tell you, oh, this is what, oh, you need to do better in chemistry because chemistry is important for medicine. Oh, these are schools that are giving scholarships right now in medicine, and this is how you can get it. Oh, if you go to the US, you cannot study medicine immediately, but this is the course to study so that you can now enter into medicine. These are the type of things JuCE will support you with. So if you're sure that's what you want to do, and the limitation is the finance, the limitation is, you know, maybe you don't know how to go about it. You don't know how to enter. So many of you asking, how can I be this? How can I be that? If you want to be any of these things and you don't know how to enter into those professions, into those courses, how JuCE can help you is by connecting you with someone who is already doing that type of thing so that they can tell you, this is how I got there. I will advise you to go this way, or I would advise you to go this other way. And that way you eventually find what you like to do. And then many of you who have many different things you're interested in, you know, narrowing down to what you should do or what you can combine or what you can, you know, because you want to be a doctor and a lawyer. Maybe you cannot do both at the same time. But there's someone on social media I follow who is both a surgeon and a lawyer, and he does both. But he studied for about 20, 25 years of his life together. Are you willing to do it? Are you ready to do it? It's not impossible. Contrary to what you might hear that, oh no, you only have to do medicine or law or this. If you want to do 3 professions, it's possible. But the point is, are you willing to go to school for the next 20 years, the next 25 years to be able to achieve it all? Because you cannot practice medicine without without going to medical school. You cannot practice law without going into law school, right? So this is the type of thing you have to just to help you prepare your mind. And you now tell yourself, okay, this is what I want. This is how I'll pursue it. This is how I'll get there, okay? So that's about how JuCE can help you. I hope that answers the question. So Demilade, please, can you take the next set of questions as to, you know, combining careers, or if your parents want you to do something different, you know, and what that can mean. And yeah, and then also being a doctor and a baker. So again, combining, I guess, a skill with a profession, and whether that's possible, if there are people doing it, and you know how they can do it. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ada. I'll need help with like some of those questions to remember some of those questions. But I'll start with the lower hanging fruits. That's the combining careers. You're combining a career with a skill. I'll start by saying it's very possible, right? I'll even say it's even the best. If you can do it, by all means do it, because your skill can fetch you income, the kind of income that your career might not be able to fetch you. And that's the truth. For instance, if your skill is you're very good at singing, you are really good at it, and maybe you are doing a 9 to 5 in banking, or maybe like a profession that doesn't pay you as much. And from singing, maybe going to perform at someone's wedding, you're able to even earn your monthly salary from just one event. So I'll say combining 2 careers is a very good thing, and I will even advise that find a skill and combine it. However, it is still up to you to put in the work, because I know that it can get overwhelming doing 2 things. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to do the work? You might be the kind of person that you don't know how to do 2 things at the same time. You don't know how to manage a career and a skill. Yeah, there are people like that, right? So what you should do is first be honest to yourself and say, okay, I'm not good. One aspect of it will be suffering for this thing. So for instance, you're doing banking and singing, and you know that you are not able to balance both of them. Say you will not pay that much attention into your 9 to 5 job because Saturday, Sunday, you're out singing, you're tired already, you cannot meet up with your deadline and all of those things. So you have to be honest with yourself, because the integrity at your job is very important. You don't want to be in a situation whereby you're doing your job haphazardly and you are, even by the time you now decide to leave the job, you are not living honorably, right? So you have to be honest with yourself so that whatever you do, you're doing it well, because it's very important. Your name is very important. So you're doing it well and you're doing it honorably, right? So if you can do both, yes, by all means. But if you cannot do both, I will say time management is very important. How do you manage your time? What are the things you have to learn? Time management. If you know that you're the kind of person that you want to do two things at the same time, you have to start learning time management from a young age. Like, okay, this time I'll do this time I'll do this time I'll use this to study for the course I want to, I'll use this to study for my exam. This time I'll use it to write songs. This time I'll use it to write poems and write essays and all of that. But at the same time, you also have to place priority, because what is important at a particular time might not be important. For instance, you have an exam coming up. Your books are more important at that moment. At that moment, your books are more important than any song that you're writing, any music career that you want to have. Your exam are more important. So you should know that at that time, from this time to this time, I'm not going to be writing songs. I'm not going to be writing plays. I'm not going to be doing all of those things. I'm going to solely focus on my books. So the time will come where you have to put 100% attention into one thing and leave the other. If you're on holiday, you don't have exams to write, you can put your 100% attention into writing songs, into writing novels, into reading plays, into developing your skills. No one is going to flog you, no one is going to judge you for that. And at the same time, you have nothing to lose. So it's very important for you to be able to balance this time. Know when to give 50-50, know when to give 100-0, know when to give 100 to one part and close it down for now. There are people that, because I know someone that, she had a professional exam, she had to shut down her business so that she can, because the exam was important to her. Her business is important to her, but at that time, what was more important to her was the professional exam that she was writing, and she did not want to fail. So she had to shut down her business to focus on her exam. The time will come where, if you are doing two things at the same time, there is no how. A time will come where you have to put all your focus on one particular thing, because you don't want to be doing two things at the same time and you're not excelling in any. That's not a very good place to be, right? So know how to manage your time, know when to focus on one, know when to focus on the other. It will help you navigate doing those two things at the same time, and it will help you be excellent in both of them. When people ask you, how are you able to do two things at the same time? Like Ada mentioned, the case of somebody that is studying medicine and law. Now, it sounds very interesting to us. Wow. Even when she said it, the first thing I said was, wow, how is someone able to do both? But the truth is that there are prices you had to pay for it. So are you willing to pay the price for these things? There are questions that you have to ask yourself. So what's the next question?
Yeah, so there was also the question regarding wanting to study either medicine or nursing or one other profession, but her mother wants her to go into the seminary, so basically you want to do one thing, your parents want another thing, and how that could work out.
Okay, so I think we already touched on that before, but this is quite distinct because it is now about seminary now, which means it's a life-altering decision, right? So it's going to alter some things. For instance, you'll be more of in a certain place. You are not in the mainstream, like you're not in the society, like out there with other people. So this is very dicey. But I went to a Catholic school and I know that you can still go to school and still do the seminary. But I would say you don't have to do what you don't have to do, because it's a long ride. I know that it takes like a certain number of years to even finally become a reverend father, a reverend sister. It's a long journey that I believe you have to sit with your parents and make them understand that this is a very long ride that you're about to put me on, and find a middle ground and let them know that, okay, this is what I want to do. I feel like it is having a conversation with your parents. And I know that it's not something you can do alone. This is where you have to leverage on your mentors, your teachers, people that know you, people that can speak well on your behalf. This is when you have to leverage them. Go meet your teacher and, okay, please, can you talk to my daddy? This is what I want to do. This is what they want me to do. Sometimes your parents just need to hear a third party for them to change their minds. Like, they need to hear another person. They need to hear from another perspective for them to be able to reason with you. So this is when you have to leverage on like those older people. Even if you want Auntie Ada, you can reach out to somebody in JuCE and explain the situation to them. Can you please have a conversation with my parents? Because the reason why, I think the major reason why parents get to choose for their children is because they think they are young, they are not able to make the right decision at their age. And it's not always true. So having an older person who has gone through your phase, who understands this thing, having them talk to your parents on your behalf, rather, having them talk to your parents on your behalf will be a plus for you. You need as many people as on your side. So you don't have to be aggressive, you don't have to be arrogant. I always don't advise that. That's not the best way to go about these things. It is having a conversation, meeting older people and letting them understand where you're coming from. The most important thing is for them to understand where you're coming from. Talk to your mentors, talk to your teachers, ask them to talk to your parents on your behalf. And yes, that's what I would suggest in that kind of situation.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much, Demilade. We'll quickly ask Yvonne. We're running out of time. Yvonne Ikide to ask her question. So we are going to make it as brief as possible as we are currently out of time. So Yvonne, are you still there? Please, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much for this interesting session.
Okay.
Mine is actually comment. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Hello? Can you?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
So it's an interesting session. It's a brief comment. You captured most of the different groups. Yes. The different groups of children, like you said, there are those that are good in all the subjects and it's so difficult for them to choose a course. And then there are those that they are good students and then they know what they want to do based on their interest, but maybe a particular parent is passionate about a different course. Somebody wants to read computer engineering, but then his father wants him to read medicine. And the reason is for prestigious, like some parents just want their child to read a prestigious course. And it's a very big battle. I know I heard what the last speaker said, that we can reach out to people like this. There are some families that the parents will look at it as interference. So I'm just happy to bring that group of students to your knowledge too. There are those difficult cases, and some of them end up reading what the parents wanted. That's why you see somebody who finish medical school and start going to pay to start pilot school. So we just pray that the children, the parents too will cooperate so that they get the best for their talent and their interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Thank you.
Sorry, there's a brief question in the chat. I tried to answer it, but I wonder if Demi has, more thoughts on it. What if you have an interest in a side job like content creation, but you really want to study medicine? Can you do it together without affecting the other? I try to answer, but I would also really love your thoughts. I think you kind of touched on it with the skill,
Yes.
but this is a specific one. So just your brief thoughts on it.
Okay. Yes, you can actually do it research. You can together, but like I mentioned earlier, career you're merging together, make sure one, it's not the other. Find priority, right? Which is more important to me at this time. That you also have to be wise, right? The Bible says wisdom is profitable to direct. So if you have an exam, you know that not the best time to start creating content, or better day for them to create, I'll create, or you can pick a time that, okay, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., I'll create all the content that I'm going to post on social media this week so that I have something to post, and I'm focusing on other things. I'm focusing on my medicine career and all of those things. It's very possible to do it together. There are people that are doing 2 things, 2, 3 things, 4 things together, and they are successful at it, right? But it is managing your time, having the right people who can guide you, who is there to advise you and also give you that support, because there are times where you feel overwhelmed, there are times where you feel tired, and I mean, having people who can support you, who can give you that support that you need at that time for you to keep going is very important. So yes, you can do it together.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also mentioned in the chat that the beauty of content creation these days is that everyone is a content creator. If you have a phone and you're putting any content on social media, that is content creation. I think sometimes we think of content creation as those people who, set camera, set ring lights and all of that. That's high level content creation. But at a basic level, as long as you have an Instagram, a Twitter, any of that, and you open it up to the public to see, you're a content creator. And there are many content creators who create content around their day-to-day life. So they'll say, oh, follow me to class as a medical student, or a day in the life of a doctor in training, So those things, I find a lot of excitement in watching those ones because it's exposing me to a world I did not know about. Depending on where you studied, where you study, even challenges with the educational system, or with being a student, or with studying even during the exam. And sometimes it's again, like Demilade said, being wise. Even during the exam, if maybe like the struggle to study during the exam, you do like a 30-minute like recording, put it together and post, that, so you don't in a way, content creation goes so well with our world now that you don't have to have a whole different enterprise to do it. And the beauty of content creation, like Jamie said before, is how lucrative it is. And there is no other there is a skill to it, but the skill that there is, it's the barrier to entry is so low. All you need is a phone, all you need is a phone. And then, you keep getting better as you go along. So yeah, it's a really dope idea. It's a really exciting idea. And I think it's something to consider and approach it with wisdom, like Demilade has said. But yeah, so thank you for the questions. And thank you, Jamie, for your very, very, very exciting advice. I find that because you're in that educational space, you're very good at like speaking to secondary school students in the way that it's real life for them, So thank you for your thoughts on all of the questions asked. And Salome, please, I'm going to hand over to you to please just go through the next program we have, but most importantly, the scholarship program that JuCE is currently running. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so quickly we'll give you the updates on upcoming.
Hi. Salome, I think your network is Your network went off, but I will just speak on the scholarship that we have coming up at JuCE. I don't have the flyer here, but maybe we will share the flyer again. The Students at Center for Memories, please speak to Mr. Nkemjika to share with you the flyers. But at JuCE, we're running a scholarship program. We're giving four scholarships to students to study or to learn about a bunch of courses. It's a different courses, content creation, sorry, not content creation, writing, emotional intelligence, a lot of things. So we're giving the scholarship. Salome, if it's okay, please quickly share the flyer so that they can see what I'm speaking about. But to be able to get this, and it's free of charge for you, all you have to do is to register and say, I'm interested in doing it. And then we will, select some winners and they can then, and you can learn from this. But yeah, so the deadline for the scholarship is 15th October. So that means you have to apply before 15th October. But we're going to extend it till the end of October to get as many people as possible to apply, right? So if you're a student here, the scholarship is very good for you to, again, when we speak about positioning yourself now so that you can get into some of the best universities in the world, it's now you start doing these types of things. You start learning, you start exploring. Salome, you're not sharing your screen. Please share the flyer if that's okay. So yeah, so you start exploring and you start seeing what you can do for next slide, please. So for the scholarship. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so the courses, the different courses you can take: writing skills. So are you interested in writing? Research, public speaking? Do you get shy when they ask you to speak in front of school? Do you start do you get nervous? This will teach you how to public speak. Critical thinking, how to reason and think critically. Making an impact, like Demilade has said, finding your purpose, making an impact. Resilience, how to push through even in hard times. If you're struggling with a subject, if you're struggling with a course, how to be resilient. In fact, the Nigerian society, you need resilience. You cannot not have resilience. So how to do that? Entrepreneurship, are you always thinking of business ideas? Whenever you think of it would be good to be able to sell this or to do this business. And when we talk about entrepreneurship too, even with content creation, how can you make money from content creation? It's not just creating content and putting your life online. How can you position yourself to make even before you get, because don't think of this as, when I'm in uni or when I graduate from university, when I'm older. Think of it as even today in my secondary school, in my university, as I enter university, how can I get into entrepreneurship and make money, support my family or just save for my future, verbal communication, how to speak and people listen to you, how to get people to, to like public speaking, how to speak complex things and break it down easily. Creative problem solving, so these are like courses offered by Eton College. Eton College is one of the foremost secondary schools in the world. It's where some of the royalties and the prime ministers of the UK attend. In fact, most prime ministers in the UK have attended Eton College. So these courses are given and offered by Eton College, and we at JuCE are giving you the opportunity to participate and choose one course you're interested in, and we pay for that course and you attend it, and then you come back and share with us what you've learned. So if you're interested, either scan the QR code or contact JuCE it's our email, and our phone number is in the chat. Students at Center for Memories, contact Mr. Nkemjika. He's going to share with you the flyer, how to register. He can even help you register, and then we would get back to you, on how you can participate. So thank you for that. Salome, please just share the next 2 things we have going on in terms of our next 2 events, and then we would wrap up for today. You're muted.
Okay, so I don't know, my screen is freezing. So our next 2 events, the first will be concerning its tech. So choosing a career in tech. The screen is loading. Okay, so choosing a career in tech is our next section. So it's good that you are a part of it. Ensure that you invite your friends, invite everyone to be part of it. And we also have journey into translation. Demilade mentioned earlier on that it's good that you learn a language, a foreign language, which could also help you in defining your niche. So it's good you come, listen, and know how you can be a part of it. So those are the events we'll be having. I would like you to do, the flyer will be shared on the platform. Do well to invite your friends and everyone to be part of this session. So that's what we have today. I want to thank you all for staying glued up till this end. I want to thank our partners for always showing up. We have the Center for Memories for always being part of our program. We say thank you. And all the students, we have our parents too, Yvonne, Mujidat, even our student Anyesa. Every one of you want to say a big thank you for being part of this program, participating, and I know that you are going home with something. So do well to make it another eventful, interactive, and informative section with us next time. So it's a wrap from here, and we'll say have a lovely weekend ahead. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Demilade. You've been amazing. Thank you. Bye. Bye, everybody.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. For memories.
Bye, everyone.